Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome to another Sunday edition of BTSC We Run the North. I'm your host, Kevin Tate, guest contributor to the BTSC podcast and website, host of the Know It All podcast. And today, I got my AFC North crew with me, the homie B Dirt, Brandon, and the homie Pay. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
It's going good, down, man. Can't complain.
I'll go ahead and apologize to everybody now. I do live in Pittsburgh, for those of you who don't know, and I have been dealing with this weather. It's been a little bit crazy. It's got my sinuses doing all kinds of stuff, so I got a little bit more of a raspy voice. I apologize about that.
Oh,
power through.
You sound great, man. Not really. What's up, Pay?
Not much, man. How's it going up there in the DMV?
Going pretty good, man. It's hot out here too, man. My sister family was here this weekend. They left about 3:00. Took my niece to the pool earlier today for about an hour, and it was hot out. But you know, I'm doing all right. Can't complain.
I would never complain about hot weather, man. You know, coming from Chicago, I would deal with this type of humid. I'm down in Atlanta now. I would deal with all this heat that they throw at me. Give it all to me. I've got 30 plus years of single digits in my bones. I could take all the heat.
Hey, I feel you, but you know, and then down there you probably don't have to worry about it. Here in the DMV and DC, man, it gets cold. When I first moved here about 20 years ago, like I would be like, man, people would be talking about how cold it is. Like, man, this is nothing. I'm from Ohio. This is nothing. But it's relative because I've been here for almost 20 years now, and these winters are cold to me now. You know what I mean?
I don't want to get to that point. They tell you get used to it from time to time because you know everybody that I've met down here, they bemoan about when it gets under. When it's under 80, they got their hoodies, their scarves on, these bubble jackets. I'm still in shorts. I was wearing shorts up until like midway through December last year.
Yeah, I've been there. I spent the holiday season out in LA, North Hollywood to be exact, one year, and you know it was different because I wasn't cold. It was like 60. People was like it was cold out there. And I wasn't cold, and so spent about a month out there watching football games at 10 in the morning and stuff. Man, it was different, but it was cool. But so today we're gonna talk about just camp news, different things related to the camp, the Hall of Fame game. I'm gonna ask these guys if they saw some of the inductee ceremonies and speeches, and we'll go from there. Let's chop it up. Let's say hey to some of the folks in the live chat real quick. Then we'll get to it. Pittsburgh Owen, what's up, man? See you out there. Reginald Rivers, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Jar Devil, T-Bar, what's happening?
T-Bar.
Is it Myra Jane? Myra Jane and Bert. What's up, Myra? How are you?
Hey,
Maui.
Tate, that Bengals fan hiding in there is coming out of Seattle, originally from the Bean.
What Bengals fan? Who are you talking about?
Timothy Lyons.
Is in the live chat?
Yeah, 502. Second one in.
Pittsburgh going. What's going on, man?
Yeah, right by Pittsburgh. Says so fresh and so clean. Who they? Are you not seeing him?
I don't see that, B Dirt.
You don't see Timothy? I see Tim Lyons. Who they nation? How's it going?
If I saw him, I would put him up on the screen, but I don't see him.
Yeah, he was the second one right behind Jared Devil. Yeah, Lima native.
Oh, okay.
Lima. Okay, Lima.
He's in Seattle now, but he's originally from Lima. We got Pittsburgh over the
How you
pond.
doing, man? Andre's not here, so you guys can banter each other. Hopefully, he might show up late, but we don't really care about the Browns anyway. So, okay. There go Timothy Lyons, but I didn't see the first one.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, Pittsburgh. There'll be no Joey Bungle. I mean, you gotta put some respect on Joe Burrow's name. I'm not gonna let you do that. Pittsburgh's already talked to me about getting on and arguing on his show. And I'm happy to do it when it comes to Burrow. I'll defend him.
Yeah,
there's some jokers I won't. We're gonna talk about them. But
We
I'll defend him.
disrespecting Joe Beasy now? Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Is just a quick question off topic. Is Joe Burrow top 5 right now?
I got him on the
Top 5.
cusp.
What's
Top
that?
5.
Quarterback.
Quarterbacks. I got him on the cusp. I got him like 6'7".
Nah. For me, it's always you gotta have the track record gotta be a little longer than a year. That's just my my take on ranking anybody in any list, any sport, whatever. I don't as you
Do
can
it
actually
again.
What's your
Do it
you
again.
gotta do it again. You gotta do it again.
What's
At
your
least-
prerequisite?
At least 2. At least twice.
You got no one season puts you in the top anything unless it's like unless it's a shallow pool, then I guess whatever. Same thing for Jamar Chase. A lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, he's the best receiver in the game." And that, no, you gotta show me again. You gotta show me again.
That's all potential.
Right. You caught everybody by surprise. Now that everybody's got the tape on you, let me see it again. Because there's other guys that's on the list. They've done it consistently. The Jeffersons of the world, the Devontae Adams, like those guys that's done it year in and year out. I can't put you in their category yet until you do it again.
Listen,
so same thing with Burrow. Tom Brady's been doing this for half of
Pittsburgh's
his
calling
life.
him bungle and putting him in his top 5. I just
Can't
don't
do
even know.
Not yet. Now, if he come out and lead this team to another division title, and get a couple of playoff wins, and I'm ready to have that conversation. But Patty Mahomes, A-Rod, Brady's been doing. Brady has 2 Hall of Fame careers. He might still be the best quarterback in the year at the league.
2 Hall of Fame careers.
2 Hall of Fame careers.
I would argue that his first 8 to 10 seasons, the defense carried him. I was listening to Richard Seymour's induction speech.
But you're still gonna sit there and argue about your boy Bradshaw though. Take his first 10 years and put him against Bradshaw. You tell me who comes out on top.
Listen,
I'm telling you.
Listen. The defense,
10 years of Brady over
8
Bradshaw.
to 10 years. 8 to 10 years is a bit much. Maybe the first 5, maybe for Brady. Maybe the first 5. After that, the last 5 of that first 10 years of his career, that man is a dog. I mean, what was it? 4 rings in the first 10 years, right? And was it 2 MVPs and 2 All Pros? That's a Hall of Fame career. And then you've seen what he's done from 30 to 40, 44? Another Hall of Fame career.
Benjamin Button.
I don't disagree.
But
okay.
To you, to Pay's point, I think that's a part of why we're so quick to anoint people, because we're in a fantasy world now. We're fantasy draft, and who you are overall kind of gets blurred. Mm-hmm. I think that happens a lot.
Question for you, B. Dirt.
Gun to my head? No. I don't think he does.
Okay.
I'm not. I wish he would. Jesse Bates is a good player, but I just don't. I think we're willing to let him walk at the end of the year and keep those wide receivers together.
There's a hot take.
Tea and crumpets. He's on tea and crumpets again. Watching the wrong football, Pittsburgh.
Joe Montana was good, but let's get started, and we'll include the live chat as we go along.
Right. Let's go.
So real quick, just talk about, we got some football. Football finally started. You know what I mean? The season is officially kicked off, not the regular season, but the 2022 season began Thursday evening when the Raiders played the Jacksonville Jaguars in Canton, Ohio in the Hall of Fame game. The game was delayed for weather, thunderstorms, I believe. And I only watched, like I was telling you guys offline, 2/3 of the first half. It really wasn't exciting. Not like last year's matchup. I watched the whole thing. I mean, it was my team, the Steelers, but it was the Cowboys. So just the brands were bigger. You know what I mean? So and those are my favorite teams to watch play. Last year's matchup, the Steelers and the Cowboys. I just love the contrast of those uniforms on the field. Maybe because I grew up in the early 70s and I remember, seeing highlights of the Steelers and the Cowboys. And I had to, you remember the football game with the vibrating men?
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. What is it called? The football game?
No idea, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Look like little army men.
Yeah, I had the Steelers and the Cowboys. So, but what did you guys think about the 2022 Hall of Fame game?
Go ahead, Perry.
Like you, I was excited to see some football action, something that's not a highlight, and maybe 15 or so, 15 or so minutes into it, I'm like, okay, what else is on? Let me get back to this Apple TV Plus. You know what? I love watching Canton games, even though it's the first preseason game, and it's really just a glorified walkthrough, because that you want to preserve the bodies now. But I've been to Canton. I love the field. I love the whole campus out there. But this game as itself wasn't, couldn't take much from it, and the Jacksonville Jaguars B team, they looked like they belong in the XFL. The Raiders, they didn't play anybody that I was trying to see. Josh Jacobs had a couple of series. He was in and out. The lack of touches that he did get.
So answer the question on the screen then.
No, I saw no Carr, no Adams.
They didn't play.
No
ETN, no.
They went to top golf that day.
Yeah.
Carr and Adams and a couple other guys. There was a story out about Hunter Renfro's one of the guys. He ordered an Uber and it wasn't an XL, and they got 4 big bodies in the Uber to go to top golf.
Yeah, it's tough. On one hand, I was excited to have football back. It's like the actual launch of football, and then you have a delay, and then it comes on, and you're watching the Jags backups. Ugh,
yeah,
this is brutal.
Like I said, they belong in the XFL somewhere. The Rock a higher.
That's what it was. Super Steelers must be an OG like me. But no, yeah, it was boring. I mean, I think the Raiders got up 20-0 at halftime, and I was already flipping channels like you were saying, Payday. I actually was flipping from the game and base. I was watching more baseball than I was the Hall of Fame game, but I was happy to see the beginning of the year kickoff. I did see Josh Jacobs rip off a couple good runs. The kid Amir Abdullah used to play in Nebraska and play for, I believe,
Lions.
Who?
Detroit
Lions. He looked good. I mean, I imagine he would probably have a second backup or probably third team. I think they still have Kenyon Drake, the Raiders do, behind Jacobs. So he may be a third team running back and kickoff returner. But, it wasn't anything special. Next time I turned it on to see what the score was, the end of the fourth quarter, it was like 20-11. So 23-11. I didn't miss anything. The Raiders kicker, Daniel Carlson, looks good. I said Stidham looks like a decent backup. I don't know if he looked decent because he's decent or just because he knows Josh McDaniel's system from being with him in New England. And they were playing Jacksonville's mostly second and third team defense. So haven't figured that out yet, but, we'll see. But so going away from that weak game that we all really didn't watch at 100% with 100% intensity, what you guys think about you guys watch any of the Hall of Fame induction, see any of the speeches? Give me your favorite speech from an inductee.
I mean, do you even have a heart if you don't say Young? His speech his speech about his son and carrying his name forward, Colby, and that's pretty heartfelt. Everybody knew Dick Vermeil was going to go over. That was annoying. I mean, he took 3 times as long as everybody else.
I didn't see Dick Vermeil. What was he crying? He always cries.
Not as much as I thought he would, but of course. I thought Tony Boselli was very entertaining to me. I liked that one.
I liked hearing Tony Boselli's too.
Yeah. Butler. My biggest takeaway from that, we kind of talked about this on previous episodes with Kenny Anderson. and a couple other Bengals being close to rather they could get in now. And looking at the overall of this induction, if Kenny Anderson doesn't get in this year, I don't see how he gets in. You know, I didn't think there was no stellar, like, first ballot, like, oh my goodness, Hall of Famers in this one. I thought the class was, I really thought it was the Hall of very good to be a little bit on the rough side, but that's one of the lower tier classes I've seen. So I just don't think my people were going to get in. I mean, I think that's it for Kenny Anderson. Write him off.
So you think that's it for Kenny Anderson after this year?
If he doesn't get into that one, I don't know what one he's going to get in.
Right.
I agree with Myrna. It's a weak class. I did enjoy Tony Baselli's induction, just because I'm a bit of a fan of his. So nothing much to take from it.
You thought this was a weak class?
I mean, it's no headliners. I don't want to besmirch anybody's career, but just no, like, off, without a shadow of a doubt, first ballot type people.
If we're saying the Hall of Famers, the biggest name, would you say, was Richard Seymour?
I could probably say that. Richard Seymour isn't a, knock it out the park Hall of Famer either.
You guys, I'm betting you guys.
Young?
I'm betting you guys never saw Cliff Branch play.
No.
B Dirt, no Cliff Branch?
No, I've seen, obviously replays, but I mean, you could sit here and tell me how good Cliff Branch was, but if he was that great, he'd already be in.
Well, I mean, but at some point the wide receiver numbers just jumped up because of numbers. His numbers for his day, he was the deep threat back in the late 70s. Him and Kim Stabler, then him and Jim Plunkett. I mean, and he, so it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good that he was posthumously inducted into the Hall of Fame, along with there was one more guy. Who else was passed away?
I'm not mad that he got inducted. I don't want to take it that way at all, but I don't hang your hat on him making it a great Hall of Fame class.
No, not great, but I want to say weak. I mean,
well, if you were grading this A, B, C, D, F,
there's been stronger classes, right? We've had stronger Hall of Fame classes, correct? You'd agree with that part, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so this is on the weaker end.
Sam Mills, I'm glad Sam Mills got in too. But so, Pay, who was your favorite speech? And it's okay if it's young, you got the same one.
No, I'm just saying. Like I said, I'm a bit of a fan of Tony Baselli, so I enjoyed his speech. Yeah, I enjoyed his induction. Other than that's pretty much the one I was looking forward to. Other than that,
I didn't watch them all. I watched Bryant Young, Richard Seymour, Baselli, and I think that was it. As far as like watching all of them, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Did anybody else listen to Baselli and chuckle that he wanted his big behind to be a quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard
a giant quarterback.
But he said his high school coaches put him at the right position. He said he wanted to be a fullback too.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say I like Richard Seymour's speeches to have some different. The way he gave a shout out to his wife and was his co-pilot and God. I thought that was a real interesting Hall of Fame speech. He kind of took a shot at the GOAT when he said, "Yeah, we won 3 Super Bowls with a young quarterback." Didn't even say him by name. He just said with a young quarterback.
Mm-hmm. So
he has a point. That's kind of what I was alluding to a little bit ago when we were talking about Tom Brady's 2 careers. But yeah. So like I say, let me close the Hall of Fame argument out on this. If you're a Steelers fan, which I think 99.9% of the people watching this right now are, I say yesterday's Hall of Fame induction makes me say there's a huge case for Cam Hayward to be a Hall of Famer just based off Richard Seymour's and Brian Young's numbers. If Cam Hayward retired today, he would have a case for the Hall of Fame. But he's still playing. He'll probably get his 4th or 5th All-Pro this year. Probably like 6 or 7 Pro Bowls. I think, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen this year, but if he gets a Super Bowl, he's a shoo-in. He's a shoo-in.
I mean, do you hear a lot of people argue against him?
Not against him, just more so has he done enough yet? You know what I mean? But when I look at Seymour's and Brian Young's numbers, I think that would allude to him having done enough already.
I mean, I guess I'll play devil's advocate. I don't see a pathway for Hayward getting there. It all depends on when you retire. That plays into it in some degree too. You know, you want to make sure you have the you don't want to make sure votes are you're losing votes to, like, you know, knock out the park guys. But the pathway for Casey Hayward would be
Cam Hayward. Don't
Cam
confuse us with
Hayward.
the DB.
The pathway for Cam is not that easy. Just because, you know, name recognition. You know, he's a great player in all respects, but getting to that hall, you know, just the way the game is now, you need that name.
So four All Pros consecutive, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
5 Pro Bowls. 68 sacks right now. 7 forced fumbles. 2 interceptions. Even 2 interceptions for a defensive tackle in a 3-4 alignment. I mean, I don't know that Richard Seymour. I said Cam had 4 first team All Pros. Let me tell you what Richard Seymour had. Richard Seymour had 5 All Pros and 7 Pro Bowls. So Cam has 4 All Pros and 5 Pro Bowls right now, but Richard Seymour played 12 years. Cam is going into his 10th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but Richard Seymour got the top of his career highlights accolades list is 3-time Super Bowl winner. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the path ain't really golden for my man Hayward to get in. I mean, he's great. He'll go down as one of the best during his one of the better players during his time. Hall of Fame, I mean, it ain't looking too hot for me, in my opinion. It ain't looking too hot.
Does it sway your opinion anymore if he gets a Walter Payton Man of the Year one of these years?
How many walk into the years are in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I'm just saying he does a lot for the community. He's a stand-up guy, and I think a lot of the guys that are going to be voting like him.
Brian Young, 4 All Pros, 1 first team, 3 second team, 4 Pro Bowls.
For Brian Young from the Niners.
Yeah. So
champion.
Cam's number are greater than his right now.
Champion.
1 Super Bowl.
Yeah, champion. You know, that rings out. You do some work in the playoffs, you getting that Super Bowl, you know, that goes a long way.
Okay. Let's see. Wow. Tim Lyons, 0.1%. Hayward is a Hall of Famer. 0.1%?
I give him 0.8. I give him 0.8.
He's right now. He's 50-50 at worst.
I don't know about that. I don't think it's a coin flip. Hey, we're getting in the call. I don't agree with there either.
Mariner says Hines Ward. You arguably should be in too, but that's another show. Hines Ward has 1,000. Hines Ward's numbers are better than some of the guys that's got in.
You can do a whole hour on that one.
Yeah, you really could. Maybe that's another show. But let's get into the camps. You know, what's going on in the different camps. I mean, which one of you guys want to talk first about what's going on in your respective camp?
We want to do a round robin on Cleveland right quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do a round robin on Cleveland. pretty much only news about Cleveland in the offseason has been off the field. So to continue the conversation we had last week, Deshaun got his first judgment for discipline of the season, and the NFL did right what they was going to do, and they challenged it, and so they're back in a holding pattern as far as what their season is going to look like as it pertains to under center. It's at least going to be 6 games, so you know that much. The next thing that came out of Cleveland was the trade demand for Kareem Hunt. So he wants to get paid. We hypothesized on this a few weeks ago.
Was he trade bait? Was the question?
Yeah.
Is he going to be trade bait? Now he's saying, you know what, trade me now, or pay me now. And they say, and Cleveland in perfect Cleveland fashion, they say, nah, we're not going to do any. We're going to sit on our hands here.
We decline, I believe was the way they said it. The answer actually. Yeah, I don't know what's good. It feels like right when they start getting things right. I mean, they can't get out of their own way.
Right.
Back the Brinks truck up for a guy that, I said the whole time I thought they were going to try to give him a year, negotiate it down. I thought he'd get at least 8 games. I still think he's going to get somewhere between 8 and 12. But they're putting that clause in there that he at least 1 year and has to apply for reinstatement because they want them to negotiate down to the full year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why that's in there. But it's just a mess. Can't have nice things in Cleveland.
The thing that I took away mostly from Judge Robinson's decision was one that she did find that he did do these things and that he did lie in the investigation, and 2 that he shouldn't. It should be required of him to get all massage therapy at the Cleveland facility and no outside treatment whatsoever. That's but still she found him to only get 6 games. We can talk about that later. But yeah, those 2 things stuck out, mightily to me.
Yeah, I mean, my only take on Cleveland is I know Kareem Hunt ended his hold in. He was holding in also. They got David Bell, the wide receiver they drafted out of Purdue. He was an All-American. He's off the PUP list. He was on the PUP list at the beginning of training camp. He's off the PUP list. And I don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. I mean, on my co-host on the Know It Alls podcast, Mod, he's been a strong proponent of him only getting – initially, when we first started talking about this thing, he was getting 0 games because they didn't, bring any criminal charges. Then he finally came around. He might get between 2 and 4. And then, so as when the verdict came out last week, he was running around talking about how right he was. So it's not over yet. I mean, and I think, just from public perception, I think the NFL has to up it, no matter how much they up it, whether it's 2 games to 8 or the whole season, they have to up it just to look like they're going a little harder than this Judge Sue Robinson did on the penalty. Like I said, I see some people, one of my co-hosts being one of them, talking about well, Big Ben got 6 games, they reduced it to 4. I said, okay. If you just do the simple math on that, they reduced it to 4 for 2 allegations. Deshaun Watson has 24 allegations, which would mean he would get 48 games if you're going by just
Let me
math
stop,
on that.
Let me stop right there. I don't want to go too. I don't want to make it sound like I'm being pro Deshaun in this moment, but there's a difference. Deshaun has allegations. His allegations never saw the light of a criminal courtroom.
Right.
Ben did. Ben had to, and what Ben's
No, they didn't.
Ben's went into the courtroom. Deshaun's, he probably had one allegation go inside a civil courtroom. So there's a slight difference. And what Ben was accused of is, really different from what Deshaun's accused of.
But allegations nonetheless. Would you agree with me there?
No, I'm saying just, there's a difference between allegations and, what happened with Ben. Ben's was proven. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I don't
No, it was
believe that
it was settled.
anything.
It was settled out of court in 2012 in a civil complaint. That's what happened. There were no criminal charges.
Okay, all right. I'm remembering it wrong then. So yeah, okay. And then in the simple case, then that was 2006.
2008, the last one I'm looking at. But yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying that by his math, well, Big Ben got 4 games for 2 allegations. I'm just saying if you prorate it, Deshaun Watson would get 48 games for 24. That's how that would work.
That's fine. They're just doing things a little differently now. But back then they had the rules were not as tight as far as like how you do these things. So now Watson has it was able to get only 4 games for Ben. Now that this last CBA in 2020, they say, okay, look, they're going to this type of stuff right now. These allegations or these trespasses, the best in the domestic arena, they're going to be handled swiftly. So trying to I just don't like the connection between the two.
Well, but that's the judge did that. Sue Robinson did that because she said that was the precedent, which is why she gave Watson 6 games. Because they both were quote unquote, I'm using air quotes for those not watching on YouTube, non-violent offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave Watson 6 games and gave Ben 6 games. They got reduced to 4. But the NFL is saying that this is unprecedented. The number of allegations, 24, as up to many as 66. If you count some of the women that are also accusers that just didn't file in with the complaint. So I mean, I don't know. I just know the NFL is going to up it somewhat. How much I don't know, but that's just my take on it. But
I agree. I mean, I don't agree with the judge's definition of violent, because not all bruises are visible. So violence doesn't need to be physical, or it can definitely be emotional. But in any case, it's still a holding pattern going on for the Browns as far as what they're going to do with quarterback at this season.
Yeah, Mike Moore says real quick. We'll get off this. He said, and there was the National Massage Therapist Convention was in Cleveland this weekend. That's kind of like,
and he but not that showed up.
He was greeting people in the lobby. That would be a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let's that's enough on the Browns. B Dirk, man, what's going on with your Bengals, man? Give us some Bengal camp news, man.
Well, we still are without Collins at left tackle, and our offensive line still looks like trash.
Why you invested so much in the O-line? Why does it look like trash?
Well, because we can't stop edge rushers. So Williams, our backup there, is just not looking like he's suitable. Joseph Asai and Trey Hendrickson are just making him look silly, which, yes, that's great for our defense, right? So the good with the bad. Normally the defense is ahead of schedule on the offense too. So I don't want to do Chicken Little, the sky is falling. But man, I was hoping to see Collins out there, and it sounds like we're not going to see him until week 1. I was hoping to see a little bit more continuity, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. At left guard, we still have a little bit of an issue. Jackson Carmen's probably leading the spot right there, but it still doesn't look great. Now, center, right guard, we look really good. Right tackle, we're okay. But we still they need to mesh. They need to get a little bit better.
Okay. You were saying something about the kid from Nebraska looking good on the defensive side.
Yeah, so Cam Britt looked really, really promising as far as athleticism. There was some talk that people could not wait to get him across from Chase, which I think that's probably a little premature. But it looks like we have some other guys that are doing pretty well. Alan George was an undrafted free agent out of Vanderbilt, and he's been playing really well, splitting time with Cameron Taylor-Britt on the second string. So that's a plus for us. Looks like we're getting a little bit deeper at cornerback. Still, as it was brought up earlier, no Jesse Bates. But I think that we're just okay with Dax Hill, going through some growing pains back there. I still think we might end up with 7 wide receivers. We have.
Let me ask you a specific question about your wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Does John Ross make the squad?
No. No, I think Lassiter and I think Kendrick Pryor will be the last two in. Now, wow. the interesting thing with that is I think Lassiter, if he doesn't return well during our 3 preseason games, he may not make it. It may go 6th in. But I think those are the guys. I think Stanley Morgan Jr. and for sure, not a great division if you can't stop an edge rusher. We can ask Joe Burrow's surgeon about that. Hopefully Collins comes back. We know Burrow's not going to probably play at all the preseason. He didn't play last year. He threw one. He was 0 for 1. He threw 1 pass, so I don't care. Knee is not the lingering issue. It's the appendectomy. Is what we're hearing is the knee is good. The appendectomy is the issue. They left him doing IV for an extra 3 or 4 days just to make sure he didn't have any lingering effects as far as infection. So
what you're telling me is that I penciled in Baltimore for 2 wins on Cincinnati, since you all can't stop anything from getting to your quarterback.
If you want that, I mean, go ahead. I'll take those bets if you need to. But I would say, I just wish we were farther ahead of where we are right now. Not having Collins in, not having any continuity.
What about last question for the Bengals? We jumped to pay because we got about 20 minutes left. What about Karros, the offensive lineman?
Yeah, Karros, they've been playing well. That's like that's the part of our offensive line I didn't bring up because it hasn't been an issue. Center and right guard have been shored up, so we're happy there. Now those guys are also maulers, and you don't do a whole lot of run blocking like that, so there's not as much to see. The left tackles are put out there on islands with guys, right? The tackles are out there on islands with guys, so they get put under a microscope a little bit more.
Hey, Brisberg, man, hit me up on Twitter at Tate Boy Fresh, man. Send me a message. We talk about. I love to see you and Andre have a discussion with each other live on the show. So hit me up at Tate Boy Fresh on Twitter, and we'll go from there. Pay, what's up, man? So what's going on with Ravens camp, man? I know you've been doing a lot of homework this week, man. Tell us what you've unearthed.
before I get too far into that, that's a Steeler fan from across the pond, huh? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
we
you know those,
everywhere, man.
you know those fans travel, man.
Yeah,
They like the Raiders.
we got dudes on the BTSC, Markey and what's my other guy name on the Steelers down under. We got cats in Australia, man. Come on, man.
Probably got.
We everywhere.
I think I saw the terrible towel on that James Webb telescope picture too. So y'all might be in some of them other galaxies. And you never know.
Right. So long as you know that.
I
Got
hear you. All right, man.
Yeah, see,
So
our boy T Bar is in Western Canada. That's way over there in British Columbia, right?
it.
yeah, man, Alaskan Steeler fans. Okay.
And Britsburg says since 1988, Pay. He don't quite go back as far as me. I'm 78. I know what. Pay, you probably weren't born to shortly before 88, so you have no perspective. Britsburg been a fan since almost as long as you was born.
That's fine. I'm fine with. All right. Man, shout out to
Steeler
Pittsburgh Nation.
Nation,
I got
Australia.
yeah. Shout out to Steeler Nation. I got something for you a little later though. All right, man. So what's going on in Baltimore right now is pretty, standard in still leading the division as looking like a division leader coming out of the summer. Lamar's contract is probably still the biggest off-field thing that's going on, but he's not as as far as what's been reported to admitted. He's not letting it become a hindrance in any way. He said he would negotiate. He had time off the field. He's not letting it cut into any of his on-field stuff, and it showed. The camp, he looks very good in camp. He's put on, as you've heard, he's put on 30 pounds almost of muscle. He's a big boy now. So everybody watch out. His relationship with Bateman is looking better than his relationship with Hollywood was. They're doing um, a lot of slants, a lot of back shoulder throws. They looking like they're going to be really really tight to this year. So if you plan on drafting Mark Andrews early in your fantasy draft, might want to keep that in mind. He might not just be out in on the big boy all year. Um, as far as so as far as the wide receiver battle goes, Bateman's pulling away from Devernay and the rest of the guys. So it looked like that's going to even itself out. That's going to show itself out very very soon. I'm glad Tim Lyons just brought that up. Calais Campbell is hinting that this will be his last year. Doesn't look like it though. In camp, he looks very spry. Him and Pierce, they're looking like they're going to be ready to ball up all type of offensive line. Shout out to Cincinnati over there. Travis Jones also on the defensive line, a young guy. Yeah, everybody.
The rookie out of UConn.
Yeah, the rookie out of UConn, Travis Jones. Everything looks good right now coming out of Baltimore. The only thing, as far as the running back room, we said on the last week show and the week before that it's going to be a work in progress because they got so many guys and so many guys is hurt. JK might be back this week, but they're going to bring him back slow. They're going to progress. It's going to be a slow process. Justice Hill, as you know, he had a Achilles injury last year, but he's looking good. So they're probably going to bring him along slowly as surely as well because Achilles, does this dangerous injury. Gus Robinson, not Gus Robinson, but Gus, he's on the way back soon. Gus Johnson, he's on the way back.
Gus Edwards.
Why did I say Gus
Johnson?
Edwards.
Gus Johnson, the college football dude.
Yeah, right. It's that old man CBS stuff you're talking about. Shout out to 1978. So yeah, it's going to be. No one's going to be overworked coming out of that running back room. You got Gus, JK.
We got
J.K. Dobbins, not the only Ohio State running back now in the division.
as I said last week,
Oh yeah, Master T.
um, um, Mike from Atlanta. He's probably going to be the number one down guy starting the
Mike
season.
Davis.
Mike Davis. He'll probably be the number one down guy starting the season. Because again, he's a dual threat running back, so he'll probably
He
get.
had a couple good years in Carolina before he went to Atlanta last year, and then that's when the wide receiver blew up playing running back. Forgot his name. Played for Chicago.
Cordell Patterson.
Cordell Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah, he played for everybody, to be honest.
He's been around. But I want to ask this question about Daniel Falale that AJC has. And AJC, I don't think he's not listed as a starter on Baltimore's depth chart. At tackles, they have Morgan Moses, used to play for the Washington football team, Commanders currently, and Ronnie Stanley coming back. And they have Falale listed as the third string backup right tackle. Yeah. Even though I think he was like a third or fourth round pick.
That is the one question mark that one of the two question marks that's still lingering for Baltimore right now is how well can that offensive line gel? It's a lot of moving parts. Daniel as a he they may have hinted at he could challenge for a starting position. It's still early. That offensive line is going to be a work in progress for camp, but they're going to be ready to go. The second question that I may have had heading into camp, it's not a very big question, but how's the defensive backfield, not as far as the cornerbacks, but back in the safety room, what they're going to look like? They brought in Marcus Williams. How soon can he pick up the defense? But it's still we will see Thursday when we see Tennessee how some of these things shake out.
On the depth chart, they got Chuck Clark and Marcus Williams as the starters. And they got Tony Jefferson and Kyle Hamilton second.
Right. So you want some of these. They want Kyle Hamilton. That's their first round draft pick. They kind of want him to assert himself a little more so he can take over some more snaps and maybe become a starter. So it's a little bit of a question. And like I said, Marcus Williams, he may be the starter. They did bring him in as a free agent signing, but it all depends on how quickly he can pick it up. So,
man, the Ravens got a really great safety room with Chuck Clark, Marcus Williams, Tony Jefferson, Kyle Hamilton.
Betting favors to win the division.
What's that?
Betting favors to win the division.
Yeah. All right. Well, some good Baltimore updates. I'm still worried about their receivers with Rashard Bateman and Devin Duvernay being the only two. I've heard some stuff about James Prochet. I don't know a whole bunch about him. I've heard his name, but I don't know what to expect from him. I mean, but those are their top three receivers. So
we'll see. We'll see. Coming up on Thursday, we'll see. Well, you won't see anything from Lamar's not going to play any time this preseason. But trust me, he looks very good in camp right now. Those passes look real crisp. Him and Bateman are putting together a real nice repertoire. And
I can see that because he's just a more physical receiver than Hollywood Brown was.
Yeah,
he can run the type of routes that Hollywood Brown could never run. Those quick slants, those back shoulders because Bateman has some size. All the routes you're talking about, Bateman is good at those. B Dirt, take your props on your ugly jersey, man.
Yeah, that's the new whiteout going on. I've got some mini helmets I bought here too. Big fan of this look for us. I'm actually going to the first game September 29th down in Cincinnati, Thursday night game against the Dolphins. So looking forward to that. That's actually a friend of mine I work with, Chris. So thanks for the shout out.
Adopted mentality?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's up, Chris?
I'm gonna say this.
Is he a Bengals fan?
No, he is not. Diehard Steelers fan.
Oh, okay. Well, the jersey is dirt.
The jersey is nice. It is. we finally did something good with the jerseys finally. So
hey man, so So real quick, man, we'll get into this. I got about 6 or 7 minutes now. Everybody's been waiting for all this Steeler action, but if you're here, you're more than likely hardcore, so you keep up. So it's nothing I can probably really tell you guys, but we know Chris Boswell got signed to an extension.
Hey, before you get too deep into the Steeler talk, man, I gotta bring something back. A few weeks ago, the chat lit me up when I was telling, and you all did too, especially you. Lit me up a few weeks ago when I told you Mitch is not going to do anything for you this year.
Who's not?
Mitch Trubisky.
Okay.
Shout out to T-Bar right there for making me remember. Make sure that's in your updates right here. I want to hear about what all the good work that Mitch Trubisky is up to over there.
Mitch had been struggling,
as I predicted.
Most of the weekend camp. Now, keep in mind, Mitch was without Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, and Chase Claypool. He's without all his number one weapons. But then the latter in the week, I believe Friday and Saturday, he led two 2-minute drills on the number one defense to scores. So I think the book is still out there on Mitch. Hasn't been written. We'll see. But I have confidence in Mitch. He'll be better in Pittsburgh than Asian Roethlisberger was last year, and he'll be better than he was in Chicago because he plays for a better organization, a better coach. I mean, you know it, Pay. Come on, man. But him and Kenny Pickett can battle. I just don't want to see Mason. Nothing against Mason. Mason's a nice guy.
Mason has looked like the best quarterback at whole camp.
Kenny Pickett is third in the depth chart right now.
I think he might have moved up to second.
No,
if you ask me,
on the depth chart, you're right. Yeah, but he's getting a lot of second team reps. Is what I'm talking about.
If you asked me when camp opened, will Mason even make the team? I'd have told you no. He makes too much. He makes too much to be a third string guy. Only terrible run organizations like the Bears pay 3 quarterbacks exorbitant amount of money. So I could not imagine Mason making a team. However, he's been the best quarterback so far in camp. So I don't know what to tell. I don't know how much to tell you. I've told you, Mason.
Listen. I'm the Steeler guy. Listen, he's been the best in camp because he's been around Matt Canada. This is his 3rd year. 1 year Matt Canada was his QB coach. Last year was offensive coordinator. Mason knows the offense, but if you watch practice, Mason is pretty much carving up second team defenses. But then it's still those moments where Mason won't let it go, man. Mason is nervous in the pocket, and he won't throw the ball downfield. He takes a lot of sacks, and he plays with a lot of nerves back there, man. So, but we'll see. I'm not worried about Mason winning the job. I'm not worried about that. I want to talk about Chris Boswell's contract real quick, sign an extension, makes him the tie with Justin Tucker for the highest paid kicker in the league, which is probably about right because he's probably like the 2nd or 3rd best kicker in the league, Chris Boswell is. Deontay Johnson got his money.
He's the 3rd best kicker in the division. Go.
Be dirt, man. Come on, you sound ridiculous, man.
Oh,
I know you're not putting just your 1 year wonder ever McPherson. Pay just gave you knowledge on that a little while ago. You got to do it more than once.
Yeah, you guys were going to trade him for a 12-pack of Yangling 3 years ago.
No, he had one bad year. I think it was 2018. He did have one bad year. But since then, he's been like literally the 2nd best kicker in the league behind Justin Tucker. If you take out that 1 year, 2018, he's up there with the all-time highest percentage field goal kickers. But Deontay Johnson got his money, 2 year, $37.5 million, I think. $27 million guaranteed. I wrote an article about that last week. Was he outpricing himself in Pittsburgh on the BTSC website? Well, he didn't because he settled for a little less than his team probably wanted. He probably wanted somewhere 20, 21, 22. He settled for 18 and a half, basically. Good for Deontay. He'll be here for 3 years. This year the contract doesn't kick into next year. So 3 years, including this year coming up. And then we'll see at that time. We'll know if we're going to keep Claypool. We'll know if George Pickens will be our number one. And so I think it puts them both in a good place. I'm expecting a lot more from the offense this week with Mitch getting some of his Deontay Johnson back in the fold. Chase Claypool will be back to practice. I think Pat Freiermuth is close, and I think you'll see Mitch doing a lot better. He definitely has a lot better weapons in Pittsburgh than he ever had in Chicago. So, it's just a matter of how he adapts to the Canada offensive scheme and what Canada, draws up. We'll see.
I think Payne's got one teed up. He's got one teed up. I guarantee it.
It does not matter who he's throwing the ball to. He's going to hit the ball's going to hit the dirt every time. Just wait. Third and I promise you, it's going to be 3rd and 4, and he's going to overthrow a guy right in the right in the flats. It's what he does. I'm dropping it.
I've seen some of that tape in our fantasy football group a few years ago. The chat we got going on. I used to always joke about you about Mitch Trash Bisky, but now he on my squad, man. So hey,
you got to ride for him, right?
I got to ride for him.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
I'm so glad you picked it up from me.
we gonna make Mitch better. If Mitch don't do his job, then go ahead and put Kenny Pickett in there for mine, man. We know what Mason Rudolph is. We know what he is. He's a career backup. He can come in and save a game for you. He won't win you a game. He can save a game. Maybe win a week or two at most. But that's about much as I ever want to see Mason if he's still here. But hey, man, so I felt like we had a decent show, guys. I want to thank everybody in the live chat for joining us. Tim Lyons agrees. Boswell deserved that contract. He did.
I didn't say he didn't deserve it
because he's the second best kicker in our division and the second best kicker in the league. But yeah, so any parting shots from you guys before we get out of here?
Lamar, strike up your DraftKings. Lamar MVP. That's a good bet.
Okay. B Dirt.
I'm going to take the bet on the under for wins for Chicago instead.
Right
for
now,
the Bears. I just that's a low blow to pay. That's all.
Right now, they're looking at the line is 5.5 for Chicago right now.
That's about right.
If you take the under, you playing with fire, my man. I mean, we play the NFC East. we might get a couple of wins just because. Yeah, I know.
Well, you can potentially beat the Giants and the Commanders. You won't beat Dallas and Philly.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of pretty good prognosticators pick Dallas to miss the playoffs, by the way.
Yeah, tell that to Ma. But real quick before we go, so somebody asked this question earlier. I don't remember who earlier in the live chat, but they asked who is the best fantasy player in the AFC North.
That was Chris, my boy Chris.
Okay, well, who is it? Thanks, Chris.
So how are we answering this question? It was going like best as in like who's done it?
Hey man,
or like who's going to draft
for this
right
year?
Now?
For this year,
coming up in the AFC North.
Who's getting drafted first? Jamar Chase is the first player in the division coming off the board.
I'm not going to argue with that, but I always look at like points above replacement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make it quick, B Dirt. We don't need 1 year long
Andrews.
theses. Mark Andrews.
I think he's going to have the best year. I think you're going to see some of the other guys.
All right, you said your name. I got a minute left. I'm going to say Najee Harris. I'm a homer too, but I think it's for me. It's always who gets the most work. He's going to get the most work in the division. So we're probably talking about 300 carries. We're probably talking about 12 touchdowns. And whatever he does as far as receiving is a bonus. But that's my pick. So on that note, man, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in later this evening to the Steelers Q&A. B Dirt Pay. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys back with me next week. Until then, shoot deuces to the folks, man. Peace. We out of here.